now we're moving into behavioral tips. So first of all, it's no shock and it's no surprise that children who have been at home, unsupervised at times, and spending vast amounts of time on their screen are going to have a very limited attention span and what I like to call selective hearing. So one of the first things that I like to do to establish boundaries and ground rules in class is to use a puppet or an object to demonstrate how we treat each other and how we treat our friends. I normally have a list of cards, which are very simple and very visual, and I show them to the children, and we use a very graphic method. In this case, I'm using a Tigger puppet. Generally in class, I will use whatever puppet that we have. It is named for the class, and the children know that it is their special puppet. So in this case, this will be Tim the Tigger, and Tim the Tigger usually is the one who speaks for or adds along to what the teacher is saying. So for example, if I'm calling on a student to sit nicely or crisscross applesauce and they're not listening, I will talk to my puppet normally and say something to the effect of, "Oh my goodness, Tim, are the students listening? Can you see that? I don't think they're listening at all." "I didn't know that, Miss Leah. That's not good at all. Oh no!" "I know, right, Tim? That's terrible."
"Yes, it is, Miss Leah. It's so bad."
You get the idea. It helps the children to understand that friend, the puppet, who is essentially extension of yourself as a teacher or your co-aide, hey there, is the one who's going to help you with it. So, Tim the Tigger, shall we start circle time? "But what's circle time, Tim the Tigger?" "I don't know." Can anybody in this class tell me what do we do for circle time? Oh, Anna, you can. Tigger, did you see Anna raising her hand? Tigger saw it too. So Anna, would you like to tell us what day of the week it is today? Pause. Now, when you have are asking a child this question, this needs to move quickly. You have a lot of children, you have a very short attention span, and they and you don't have the time to wait for hems and haws or children who are just not fully awake yet. So get comfortable with it and be flexible. One of the most important things I can say is to be flexible. Many times I have begun a circle time fully prepared with an activity all ready to go and realized within the first 15 minutes of it or less, first 2 minutes of it, my class is not having it, they're not going for it, and they're just not going to do it. So I have to change a plan, and I always have a backup plan. Generally, that would include something like a story, and that moves us right along into our Brill Kids program and how to conduct a story time and a Brill Kids session. Before we do that, I'll do a quick demonstration of how we would read a story in our pre-K classes. There are rules that we have in pre-K. Number one, children can relax. Story time is a relaxed time, but they are not allowed to talk, eat, whisper amongst themselves, fool around with each other. It is very much a hands in their lap situation, or in this friend's case, a hands in his belly situation. Secondly, I like to engage children in the story, and I ad-lib the story. If it's a story that I can see has a lot of text and not a whole lot of pictures, I usually generalize it and make sure that it's summarized in a way that by the end of the story, children are able to more or less explain with prompts the beginning of the story, the middle of the story, and the end of the story. This is exceptionally helpful in having children recollect what they've learned for that day and what they understand from the story that's being read.